Good afternoon, everyone. The Senate Committee on Executive Appointments and Government Investigations now convenes on this April 15th for the confirmation hearing of Mr. Jose Pangilinan Kiyoshi, nominated by Governor Arnold Palacios to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Election Commission, representing the Second Senatorial District of Tinian and Aguiguan. The time is now 2:04 p.m. Mr. Devin Macaranas, may I please ask you to call the roll?
Senator Selena Arbabalta,
Present.
Senator Karina L. Magofnia,
Gaya.
Senator Paul A. Manglonia,
Here.
Senator Donald M. Manglonia. Madam Chair, 3 members are present, 1 member is absent.
Thank you, Mr. Macaranas. With 3 members present, we have the necessary quorum to conduct today's official meeting. Moving on, just a few administrative announcements. I ask that you please silence all your electronic devices at this time. The committee appreciates minimal distractions while in session. Now that you've gotten acquainted with the members of the committee, I would now like to introduce the professional staff of the Legislative Bureau assisting the committee. For the record, we have our legal counsel, Mr. Jose Bermudez, our legislative assistant, Mr. Devin Macaranas, our IT assistant, Mr. Delbert Camacho, and to keep order and decorum at all times during the session and in the chamber, we have our Sergeant at Arms, Mr. Ben Terlahi. Next up, we have the adoption of the agenda, and I'd like to recognize Senator Karina Magofnia for the proper motion.
Thank you, Chair. I move to adopt today's agenda. So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and it has been seconded. Are there any objections to the motion? There being no objections raised, the agenda for today's meeting is hereby duly adopted. For the record, today's agenda was published on April 8th in compliance with the Open Government Act. And I would now like to move on to the next item on the agenda. I invite Mr. John Paul B. Regis and the nominee, Mr. Jose Kiyoshi, to join us in the chamber. Mr. Regis will formally introduce the nominee to the committee. Mr. Regis, you may begin when you are ready.
Good afternoon, Hafaday Zantiro, Chairwoman Selena R. Babalta, and honorable members of the Executive Appointments and Government Investigations Committee. For record purposes, my name is Jean Paul B. Regis, Acting Special Assistant for the Administration under the Office of the Governor. On behalf of Honorable Governor Arnold I. Palacios and the Honorable Lieutenant Governor David M. Apateng, I thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today. I am here to introduce Mr. Jose P. Kiyoshi, the Governor and Lieutenant Governor's nominee to serve on the board of the Commonwealth Election Commission representing the Second Senatorial District of the island of Tinian. An active community member and a United States Marine Corps veteran, Mr. Kiyoshi has contributed significant of his time in the Sinamay government. He worked his way up from the ABTC Law Enforcement 1 from 1995 to 2004, ABTC Law Enforcement 2 from 2004 to 2012, until becoming the resident department head for the Department of Commerce. He had served as a chief of staff and a chief of administration for the Tinian and Aguiguan Islands Mayor's Office prior to working for the U.S. Delegate, the Honorable Gregorio Kilili Camacho Sablan's office presently. His professional experience, credentials, and commitment to serving the Commonwealth in this capacity make him a strong candidate, and I am confident that he is well prepared to answer any questions you may have and present his vision for the future. Governor Palacios and Lieutenant Governor Apateng have expressed their complete trust and confidence in Mr. Kiyoshi's ability to serve as a board member on the Commonwealth Election Commission, and we kindly ask or request your prompt approval of his nomination here today. Thank you, and Jesus Mosi Zangiliso, for the opportunity to introduce him to this august body. Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Regis. I now open the floor for public comments.
Good afternoon, Hafades and Tiro Chairwoman, honorable members on executive appointments and government investigation. My name is Ambrosio Liswa, Administrative Officer for the Commonwealth Election Commission. I am here on behalf of the Executive Director of the CEC. She sends her apologies that she isn't here today as she is off island on official business. I appreciate the opportunity to provide my testimony in favor of Governor Arnold I. Palacios and Lieutenant Governor David M. Apatang's nomination of Mr. Ose Kiyoshi to the CEC Board representing the Second Senatorial District, Tinian. As the 2024 general election is fast approaching, CEC presently has one vacancy on board for the Second Senatorial District and 3 vacancies for the Third Senatorial District. 2 members will be expiring on July 21st. And we would like to fill those vacancies to ensure that CEC meets and maintains quorum requirements. The CEC has its work cut out for the upcoming general election, and we look forward to working with Mr. Kiyoshi to uphold CEC's mission to a fair and orderly, impartial election. I respectfully seek this honorable body to act on Mr. Kiyoshi's nomination. Thank you, Sidus Masi and Hiliso.
Thank you, Mr. Liswa. The floor is still open for public comments. If there are no further public comments, we will now close that portion of today's meeting. For the record, the committee did not receive any letters in opposition of the nomination of Mr. Kiyoshi and has received letters of support from the following individuals: Ms. Dolores P. Kiyoshi, Ms. Kayla S. Igito, Executive Director of the CEC, and Ms. Remy Sablan, former member representing Saipan of the CEC. Moving on to new business. On March 12, 2023, Governor Arnold Palacios nominated Jose Pangilinan Kiyoshi to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Election Commission pursuant to Title I, Section 6102. If confirmed, Mr. Kiyoshi will serve the unexpired term left vacant by the resignation of Mr. Jonathan Manglonia, expiring on July 21st, 2027. The EAGI has an important responsibility of considering the qualifications and suitability of Mr. Kiyoshi to serve as a member of this important board. This is a critical duty, and I appreciate each of the contributions from the members of this committee for their understanding, commitment, and cooperation to this process. Democracy empowers citizens to have a say in how they are governed. Through voting and participation of the political process, people can choose their leaders and influence the decisions that affect their lives. A core principle of democracy is the idea that all citizens are equal before the law and have an equal opportunity to participate in society. This helps to prevent tyranny and ensure that everyone has a stake in the success of our community. But democracy is not without challenges. It can be slow-moving, and it requires constant vigilance from citizens to protect it. However, the benefits of democracy far outweigh the drawbacks. It is a system of government that is built on the idea that people are ultimately in charge, and that is something worth fighting for. Mr. Kiyoshi, I now ask you to please rise and raise your right hand, and I recognize Mr. Macaranos to administer the oath.
Jose P. Kiyoshi, you do solemnly swear under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you shall give in the matter at hand shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you.
Thank you. You may be seated. Mr. Kiyoshi, I now open the floor for you in the event that you wish to make comments to or opening remarks for the committee to consider. The floor is yours.
Yes. Madam Chair, for the record, non Jose Pangilinan Kiyoshi. Unayam zo in advance is a testimony. Lo malagwa zo na para by Sangan siya no agresemento para i-individual siya ni muna posibles na organ na public hearing. Una yung dangklo na si Jus Masi sino may governor si Arno Indelesio Palacios dan ni Lieutenant Governor David Mundu Apatang ni nai kumpiyansa ni para bay Husedbi itano utinian dan interimenti Marianas gesti na importante na board sino may election commission. Dalo kina bere kumisa hagun no Madam Chair no Senator Mabauta dan izomo steam body ni insedi ipublikon Marianas para upan matupagon na dia ni para umanay testimony ko masapopota zo pan makokontra zo pareste na importante na board. Dalo kina bere no rekonisa sinano si Teresa Pangilinan Kiyoshi dan ni dipuntuas no tatahuas Ignacio o Kiyoshi mas matungo na sa Filipi. Kumutisiya este dos na sainaw no 20 tibigay gigwinin ni para umarekonisa hafa bidado galang mi komunidad dan alam tinian ni mampus mana za hululu di irespeto dan inai napamulik masya timanoyo na respeto lo masangonyo na tuli tempo no siya na respeto dalo na berekonisa familia ko no gijatinian ni tuli tempo mananaizo no sapotasyon ni pamagono joko grand dan izoko other half no sitsai daw na bay sangonya steam body na 2003 to 2013 anaizo former governor as one nekabauta oportunidad ni para beset bi tanoot no tinian hanay pagpapaisin zo gobyerno komalago zo para beset bi tanoo ni governor magay na humalom zo gi militar gumuilik mo gi bandangera sina gumera zo lulingay governor Mr. Kiyoshi sina gumera lo otro na kasinggera ste posane huset bi itanoo gwasya magay ni mandibati hami agwa ni jiling you win some and you lose some who comprende ready zo paganogan ni para bay hu tsagi mo oppi todo question mizo gininansi zangi tamana je pago chuchulizo ko si Diyos Mose.
Jesus Masi, Senor Kiyoshi. Let me open up the floor for the other members. First off, can you share with us your experiences having been a registered voter and a voter of the municipality of Tinian and Aguigon? What are your experiences in terms of election procedures or processes or observation that you think could be improved?
Una za hululu ane pagomalum zo kwestiona ni ufaisin komite hafa na manahono para Amerika hafa na manahono pagwam ni para tapaman register voters uhongi na guaha hasta set rules and regulation na an existing voter ho pos gagin on mo gi register an taigin on mo pos guaha until at 145 days ni David yun biro tatti tano mo ni para hun saga ni para uguaha ebidensya siya na unggan sumasagaw tinian sumasagaw saipan pa sumasagaw luta inigi una za hululu esti anilui para gesti apa naman ahono toto board para Guam para Amerika ni pupan register nebo na voters sa guaha ezi por ejemplo go mano zo para Amerika sumaga zo 10 años masagwa zo sagwa toda ni matto Marianas low register ko fair no para ezi umano magi kita nonya za atatizi hafa lilingay regulation inigi uno uhongilokwi isti ne para tasapota sti siya manahono para kuleho zan isti siya mangagigi sindalo uhongi nagwaha diretsunya ni polo pamambota gi tanunya inigi uno imas za hululu eno hafa na manahono toto election para Amerika ni po register no voters.
Thank you. Lo sigun Jesus Masin no nepi papangunit no ni asunto na mas seserigi otro siya na islas ne. No, sigun gi experience mo ko gani galine para mo na gua siya no man masusesedi on election day, por ejemplo. Neji ti kumbeni jan ti dinansi sigun ni a reglamento ni election commission.
Unggan zao na bena kloros ti ane pagumolum zo jan ane nebo zo na commissioner ubisita halum i former no executive director Gregorio Kilili kamatso sa blan za matatso ngami zo faisin director hafa ni sisita bay tsogi ha sa board member ni parabe sa poto lingas si director no sa blan Mr. Kiyoshi ta TJ Lai estima pus na eleksyon bula uli para tinyan za ti satisfecho zo in fact no mangomplain zo edzi para baili gihalum i ani matutupong ibaloto po fanyatsalik i pulusiya pero papat sa ibalit za aneo mamaisin zo question kulan masanda zo za ti debi sa hita ni publiko diri chotta na para tatungo hafa masusesedi gihalum i botasyon sa kumutun sa ngani publiko sempi gwajan yan no doubt no na apa si John na mono para santati apa si John na gogoti je papit apa si John na agogoti jabi lo ti debi ni pigiza inigi uno anayo patsutsugi si congressman Sablan Pogo tilele ko na tetotsugi si Kayla ititonya lo kulan batse no dan na tanga gono mangaging pilihaw na tinian pan mangagiluta pan mangagigifyo importante na patana kloros ti election sa talia umbisa Amerika mula question na kadiba hita ni dikikitono debi digwa transparency jige na manggaygi i OPA dan Attorney General ni po mana siguro na todo do question ang Demokrato unma oppi ang Independent no umaoppi ang Republican no umaoppi so gwaha kloro ginin i-chair o i-director sa election day i-director si Sonia para run election gunumakpo election ijigi si Sonia i-commissioners para matufong dan puro mana siguro dan puro mahungo ko gwaha mamangompepen gano huzong dan apay complain sa gwaja na complain no puro tukintusyo na mangompleno na apa si John na akin tutusi Democrat apa si John na independent na akin tutusi makin tutusi sa mamamaisin question ang tawag mo questions of course natin matsay wato lo nigi importante iparaw tanagwaha fair dan balance na election sinya makan lo kumo transparency ta sotsogwe tawag pero kunistona election ijiga natawana jale ko ani patsutus kilili manonami para Guam election na conference ginin Australia sti zani maatan todo do i rules zani regulations zani procedures sino may za hululo na linya makat esti porogwaha di regrias sa fa ana siguro sikilili na todo i hapat sotsogwe mangaygi i OPA mangaygi Attorney General dan mangaygi election commission ni po masapota i desisyon para ipubliko.
Jesus masen na hasadzo no galay no regulation zoning and ponfamega no tablero negi kantodsalan no gadon yan no regulation is zoning na 30 days after election o manafanunok todo do tablero law election commission 15 days daji permit ginin ni zoning una papasi kandidato na papasi zo janggen ponfamega tablero gani sigun put partida janggen malogo ando partida gani tauza no charge para individual para candidato sa esta partida guiza mapasi para todo lo idige na discrepancy gini dos na agency za gini no faisa na election commission neste no haji pago pa be osgi ne jangin malalago jo haji pa be osgi sa tipo mareo ilai jani regulation geno na dos na agency so no pabe paungono aneno na suntu sa cosa que jangin ma confirma ho ko sinion acta neno jo gwa no unified na regulation, whether it's 15 days or 30 days, either one lo na pareho a reglamento ni pueden ni tablero. Sinabenti gua mas lo que asunto, za tarabati mafatugi attention mommy ne, but hoji lo inigi uno u lipora na guahaneno na discrepancy. I otro ginino faisi ni Election Commission ni director at the time no por este gigonesti tempon no eleksyon ne. Debido según por poro mana convenient para masyadji. Debido ga no masya no notary public or an OPA staff gi uma-assign for the 2 months na tenga mababasta dyan man accessepta po workers. Koski sinya mas plikadzi pudedzi i candidate financial statement. Para na paro manangas tayo después ne sa bulala instructions giza makkaredzo ma fill out the candidate statement form. It's a very complicated form dyan ginti makumpende no i treasurer gi committee ne. Daw na be bring up eno gi attention mo. And no question no para paugon na honest be babay piso lekta para pumalo member. Recognize Senator Paul Manglonia.
Thank you, Chair. O comprende no Mr. Kiyoshi na estão making no gi pass board meeting no making no siya za tibena naku antay gweno na lo biti by emphasis uno dos grano neju menciona. One of them is Gialatsa na hearing na if I see ni mommy eole for draft legislation. So I hope that we're working on a couple legislation. One of them is the election day. Di sinya mamambota tototinian na manggagi saipan or totoluta na manggagi saipan or totosepan nagagi luta gian in election. Lo yet sinya mamambota un semana gi early voting. Pues ini uno pom tulaikan na lo tutungo bitigilay no pues ini uno y otro iji the sinya esti chuka ti mafalay na lo nisitam din tulaikan so mizu regulation lo and sa kaso ti pentulaikan no guabio madradraft lo ku ni ji parejo siya na boto imanggagi off island ti sinya man request está around late August no sa esta by then esta gua sepi no official ballot no pe candidate lo gibanagoy tinisaru na ta connect ene dos na sa it's only request no the antes na no sinya manggiaw man type lo tileliko na pon tugya da pon type pago na ba lo usay na language i form na lo ay tisinya ma recogniza ji debeji 2024 na second na form which is pareho exactly totally wording than 2023 than 2022 na kada election na lo ay like tisinya man request solo is na form za gizago afan adilele no za ana babag lock ki office no sa sepi duro alo mi i form gi end of August and September pues eso ana ora na duro pon type ina ni tauto na nuzo na afana tisinya ta allow na masyagin in March or today April no está tunga na you're not gonna be at your particular address that you know that you're going to have your ballot since you're a student, right, or a military or qualified off-island voter. So they should be able to start accepting it now so that you just go and cross-check whether their name is there. And then if their name is there, start typing the form. And once the ballot is official, then you just, it's that easy. No? So, and those are the two concerns. As you mentioned, you heard the other concerns. For that reason, no betibe na Canada line of questioning, Madam Chair. You served in the board before as a Board of Election member?
Yes, sir.
Because your resume doesn't say that, na, and often a year. Na,
2003 to 2013.
also, it's 10 years that you have been a board member.
Actually, di mga lana ko lo fire zo si former Governor Pitio.
Tinansuo.
Ay fire zo gi Board of Election. Sa no anay gagi zo gi board ne apunta zo para director. Dalilingay line na
Oh, okay,
as a
Tisinya.
resident department head Tisina na parang serve as a board member in the Sinamay.
Right, Tisinya. From Roran, Tinian, na Tisinya. But law you served for about 10 years.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yeah, maybe, Madam Chair, we have to indicate that because your resume doesn't indicate that. Taza, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Senator Paul. I now recognize Senator Karina Magofnia.
Thank you, Chairwoman. No, Mr. Kiyoshi, si dus masino nag-acceptay nomination gini ni Gobernador ni Lieutenant Governor. Tawad sa question no gi sa mo resume sa, everything looks like it's in order, but no ko un atan citizen-centric report for 2023 for CEC.
Mga natabi at
Okay.
tiwatan tabi.
I'll just briefly kind of share with you siya na challenges man matugi pa pag election commissions. I won't say all of it, but I'll mention a couple of it that might be of concern. Should you get confirmed, to please take a look at it and maybe work with the other commissioners to resolve these challenges. One of them, it says the CEC confronts issues and barriers with validating the voter registry. So that's important, no? Sa necesita tatungo klaro and man ma-register siya totota po famambota na unggan magahit. They meet all the requirements to become voters of the CNMI. Edzilokui atan fa ni concern ni guana bar ni manyasaga toto gwini na village lo mo man ma-register gyotro na precinct. Ofa dupusi ilay pat regulation gisi isi ni ginagago za ofa isi matutsogwi ni puro man seguro na man matatitizi no siya na regulation, sa guana brani no man lang mo si concern na often na si Flonus masagigiguatu in lilia kada dia for kwanto anyos lo gagin an mambobota gyotro na precinct. So tutungo klaro regulation sa tiwa ata magalo an mogalo mo kusinya na ata na nigi sa tatsagis muna gasgas muna klaro para mo na trulo no it's still the processing of absentee ballots, no. I think in the past we've kind of asked the other nominees ko sinya makonsidera esti siya absentee ballot ni sinya po ma-register siya online instead of printing the form, mailing the form, so find a more efficient and effective way for our off-island voters to be able to register online and save money and time on postage and stuff like that, and that can also be efficient sa date and timestamp of ngayon ni man ma-receive no siya na application online, right? So I think that's something that when we asked Kayla last time, she said they'll take it into consideration, but in looking at our financial situation, I think it might be a good thing to consider Estishana Clausen process to be available online, especially para totote ni Mangagi ocho na lugar. And just one more question. If I since last na nominee si Miss Babauta last week, but one of the challenges like they have a hard time increasing the number of registered Northern Marianas descent, NMD, no? The Paraguay to give comprende afa significance na po fan ma registry to loko bify sino ago ko tungo or comprende afa i purpose and the significance of registering our people as NMD.
Okay, pinanina ba opinion ni Jomulas na question. No, anagay gizo gi election commission no manoi di magari at that time MPOle no. Ni aturadot ni paro register mo siya i Haji Manoder Maranas Descent. Za upaisin na question gi animan meeting ami. Hafa na para i MPOle pero maisin na hafa na tisina manoi i board of election. Manhonggizo na purason na managwanin no sa estelatsa 20 tingwa por este article 12 no no Guam está claro na todos sinaman mambota gi self determination goho manonggizo ni i diretso gagi gi tototono i diretso ni protono laika inilala niya i tototono importante na hugwaha edukasyon hafa na rason na pamanagwaha no Northern Marianas Descent Registry. Dan develop ki dita comprende na ni manhita dan ni Estados Unidos, Amerika. Todo do na toto imanggay gwini ani ma-sign the covenant agreement became Northern Marianas Descent. Por si importante sa panan klaro i registry na antilatizo ilinga panan un tempo na you have to have blood quantum no lo tutungo pa ko matolaikan eh. Logolo ke manonggizo na tisina na patari prive ito puro pamambota. Now sina bentiligo question esti umanagwa dos na fila no. Another manas diselo fila gini. Diretso mo puro pambota fila gini. Now it becomes a legal question kung nisisita para tatufong idzibotunia imamambota. Sa tindi prive kumun sede na puro pamambota. No, pues inigi uno illegal question no iporonatan sa ijunya no challenge gini gi Stephen dan right hafa na tiporon sedi zo na pabifan bota. Now tamana tatalilek ko na becomes a legal question kung necessaryo na puntufong ijunya si Mr. Kiyoshi ni US citizen za amumumuji dito na pono pambota di Article 12 por ejemplo. Mano goto si Mr. Kamatsu por ejemplo ababa zonya ID ningastige zo ko Northern Marianas Descent ningastige mo agi or sinya un fila ha sa kumudos talo sinatalo malo na pa na gwa discrimination na pos un fila ha ang kumulo si Mr. Kiyoshi zale can I see your Northern Marianas Descent ID I'm sorry I don't have it but I have a driver's license okay sedi zo apan bota no pogo ko pumatufong inigi illegal question ko necessaryo patatufong si Mr. Kiyoshi zonya no ballot sa tita deprive na puro pambota. Logo numano si Mr. Kamatsu hulo zaman bota daling mo Mr. Kamatsu sinamon bilizo mo no ID no the Marianas analio online ballot atufong umpega gyalum gi. Inigi pago becomes a legal question. Is your to mo question put bandanesti i check kung magahit si Mr. Kiyoshi na sumasaga tinian no gohu manonggizo na sinya benti tatunga galumi government nati pu 8 hours man masotso no pos an matusti temponya isti i non election ne go lekku manonggizo na debi i election workers zamatan ni roster no zamatan Jose Kiyoshi Mano ni sumasaga si Joe, mano ni mambobota, mawagano ki telepon si John's Dig Election Commission, gagagiwa tinyanunggan, mano ni sumasaga. Kung sino naizo ni mo power bill, kung sino naizo ni mo post office box. Da kumataza zinay umapigay question mark, zo manai election commission zo mahir. Sa ginigi yalatsa, wama susedi luta. Sumagas din na individual no Hawaii for about 20 years. Guapo logo pamilya. A register. Inigi uno na question in Faisin. I-chairman gano'n na tempo si Mr. Sablan. Linga kugwa intensyon mo pambiro luta lingyonggan. Okay. Kugwa mo driver's license lingyonggan. Kung expire lingyonggan. How many years expire linga? 15 years. Kugwa mo PO box ilingaunggan. Konaan mo PO Box Lingayen nananaw. Kasi nagi uno ma-disqualify. Sa masanganya ito na anti-satisfaction ni John Mommy ruling kunya mi pare kote. Mano no mga ni John individual ti koni election commission no pare kote. Ini siya iliko na bulay no na question. An malago primo Lagay gizo gini na precinct 1 lo precinct 2 ni malalago mambota jo gi precinct 2. Pos gua na ji tumungo za gua commission. Inigi uno na ebidensya iliko na klaro na anti-election season umata ni roster zo mago one by one. Zo mana siguro zo an man matu na umatsuli power bill, umatsuli telephone bill, para umatsuli mo ni man eskwela pamagunya. Zo maatan zo ma-identifika and it becomes a legal question. Pos umatsuli binder zo mapega todo doon Zago nugwa malum pro questiona po si Mr. Kiyoshi alo kesta todo no manado na manaklaro na hunggan. Ginin mambobota ke precinct 1 lo pago mambobota ke precinct 2. Za sinya no guaman din efekta gi iman malalago no. Dan isti uno absentee voters. No on the way to DC gua no asodao no masotso get freedom vote. Sufficing gigesti do masayo na. Apa jo comprende mo gi do masayo. Nga safa na may sunod ko ni question. Likus Mariana si Jona do masayo very big. Kung faisin ni voter ni sumasaga hasta 20 años Amerika. Ko pambira tatti Mariana sa lingaungan. Kulan esta on trapo no. Pues sa ngano jo linga well you can ask the question. Mano si Mr. Kiyoshi ni sumasaga majority of his life. Ini uno. Da guno man na klaro no ginoma sao sempre bulala. Gia tota Amerika banin efekta. Para minolik itano gi para gozo kuno personal opinion. Hapa na para toto hizong para tunalaika ini nalata. Gwini ni mangaigit ni hita manyaga ni hita sumisenti iminakat. Imilitat medical referral dan ni maniskwela o comprende. Loji monozo zo bokbok familya ko sa manyaga may Amerika 10 years. Da para bisiga tumalaika si John Doe ini nalo niya na go hongge na 20 ti Debbie na para un wad opportunity. Manista more than 5 years, 6 years. Dan bula lokke di man Mississippi no federal benefits America. Yeah. Waji manually driver's license. Loti masangoni individual na you become automatically registered. So inigi siya dan iji lokke yunu guasya tagi man waji na criminal record iman na preso o iji man mote jakin pendekku I believe na esta election commission have that no esta ma routinely ma update izunya no roster. Si Diyos masi.
Si Diyos masi, Mr. Kiyoshi, inapem mo, o comprendia hafon sa sangang podestisya no off-island voters, no? Pwede di siya sta agas manyagas ang lago, ja fino mo, the intent is really, if you've lived there for a long time, you've acquired a driver's license, you file your tax return in the state that you are residing in. There's already that intent to, reside in wherever you're at and not, but their vote shouldn't affect the decisions that are being made here on islands at Timagaf. Maybe they do keep up with some of the events that are taking place here, but they're not necessarily being affected directly. So I see what you're saying. So maybe sa kaso na manaholo mo, atan fanino siya na regulations at na klaro mas going forward para itotota na ni mangagi o chutano the make sure that there's ample time to educate them, inform them about the impact of their votes that it has on the decisions that we make here on island. But I definitely understand where you're coming from. I still didn't kind of get the answer to the NMD. I guess for me malago sa bitungo ofay intention na di registry ni usa ko ofay na information ni tutuligin ni totota as NMD ofay information ni puro mausa ko po mausa para man apply grant ko sinya mausa din na information po ma-justify na based on our registry this is how many NMDs we have in the CNMI and so I'm just trying to understand the purpose behind the registry and the information that's being gathered.
Go lekko na ani masusedi ji Guam na ni ji self determination no. Ja man mapedi Guam iji lekko na mulala no NMD para masuli tamana ji lekmo kwantun na tomorrow jang kwantun na Carolinian jang kwantun na NMD lokki manistaba gwini ane pago masign ji covenant agreement inigi uno jan yotro tamana ji lekko article 12 inigi I believe na inigi uno na managwahan no NMD registry ni para umaatan haji tototano haji Northern Manas descent inigi uno dan sinya lokko dinanchon no minority no hita ni chamorro gininon tempo dang kulo no na nasyon di para goa joko opinion hita ni chamorro pago man extinct no didita antilachizo back then I think about 200 some or 50,000 na chamorro pago buralay ni je man misklaw no bisnigo ijinalom joko testimony ni chamorro jan Korean I am a proud NMD lo kizoko no Korean blood.
To do Mossy, I think maybe should you get confirmed, maybe just work with the election office to see how they can promote and encourage more of our people to register as NMD if that is the understanding that we need that for protection of Article 12 or whatever the cause may be. I think that the office needs to be a little bit more proactive and do more outreach to our people so that if that is what is needed to ensure that the NMDs are protected, then I think the office needs to be a little bit more proactive because I know that when we asked Kayla, she said they only asked when you come in to register as a voter is when they ask you, but outside of that, on a non-election year, mo sinyahan nigi siya fan matsotsogi to include the verification of residence, mono na precinct ni mangagi. So I think that's quite some time for the office to kind of conduct some of those operational improvements.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dan uno lokki lekko na antes de ben seguino no de bilokki staff no dan ni director dan ni commission no makomprendi no hafa na rason na tatsotsogo no NMD no registry no sa 20 timatungo staff na importante no na registry ja by official na guno ma-confirm zone na estima body is a major concern by bring up the by share jani director jani staff jani board.
Sidus Masi, Mr. Kiyoshi. That's all I have, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Magogna. Recognize Senator Paul Manglonia.
Okay, thank you. Stados bem na paisinji si Senator Corina za ane kumekwento sa nasuzo pago sinya bitistigi rason gina time gi kolan after 2010 ma-bring up istin si US Congressman Kilili, if I'm not mistaken, was the executive director gi Board of Election za i rason pago no aso i guasia issue por Article 12 za i palabra que no only NMD can have a say gi and often na legislation or changes ki constitution gi por Article 12 za i idea gi no presenta uno na rason i danginta na famambota interamente cinema citizen gi este na initiative jan NMD at the same time machulia loki jonya voting na result pues ilelenya na let's say that they come to the same conclusion then na mafabod ezo then tawjes to ano fansusa ringnya toruri sine mai masaputta plus majudia loki ami di treso i NMD pues ilingnya esta makpua na tawja esta u fansusa como sine maya pues gua grupo na nya no ti toruri sine mai debi NMD ya pues kita tunggu result lo lingnya janggen umafakcai then tawja esta u fansusa tsaka i sine mai toruru or i NMD toruru no giza i result pues ini one of the reason menciona si Congressman Kilili gina meeting ne matatatsung gano na season presente no za ini one of the reason among other reasons no
Yeah.
pues just on that okay. Yotu no director na give din ang siya nene ipagawa policies o ma-implement na i-problema siya latsa when it comes to election taginis ti last na election ti ko kontra siya ganon to board usong lo sa mamatatagwa na lo lani ti sinyo komprendi tayo mano na ibutun un partida kana maazi ka toruru mamambobota Amerika za manaigi lista ni otro partida jejo na guasya man lalolo na supporter giz Amerika ma duro magang si Kela uzo often gi paton mesa election only 1 month before the election duro man makatawsin siya na tibang qualified ramzo za penfan ma hearing the tagini ejigi problema tawsa so mga na mangino na source often na sige na 200 the better way ano natan even Commonwealth wide purura no 80% totoluta na no za 80% na totoluta purura guru un banda gi grupo na no ejigi problema no za at the last minute pues agim panina pues na ina pareo za no mga ji pamahaji ka un grupo za tunga na staff biti ti matungo ginen manulo gua biti manay gwatu gi board na nay gwatu staff na ini isa naan ini no babe na i ma target no za pues pero de no ma hearing esti uno na voter gi za Salem za go tungo na sesu gwatu luta pero de ne familia manyananya manyelunya back and forth luta na za tunga na sinya mo lo start man America lo I guess mono sa eskwela pues taza chotsu ne the speaking of chotsu enigi one of the reason gi law that we need to review ilenya military medical economic gegeno gi law economic pues per ami luta na guna lachi politikamo lachi majot taichi chuo pues angin 12 años na taichi chuo I'm sure parantinian manono man tisinya pafanyasaga luta sa toda chichunia mafaya na pues debi du fan manono man ragwam manyaga gi na duro mamachotsu pues manana na wa salapi para i famagunia luta pa no oji na familia na pues ito na guasi na tunga na libano taluk at man taigwi na nuzo atan ko puchotsu na loke no pues gualoki ji militar famagunia manono mapulala ni militar na gimanian pues unfortunate na lo ini that we need to address that when we address that mga ma-apply lagi uno na grupo na sige problema manangga last minute oji pero na border gi watu mambisi gi eskwela niya chichunya pero ufamamota gi oran conveniente marianas na no sa ti pareo poingi gi daytime gini mamatsotso pues panoy no gi weeks before the election gwaji ti ma respond na izunia na za pues ini gi problema za befaisino ti chomo ang ingwapo matsogi o matsogi gi fair na manner no za okay gi last election ma year nos quantos pues eji monazon ma year nama si animu para pute butunya sa managang za schedule hearing pues ane ba hearing ti matufong pues eji pumalo na ti mamanagang alo milinya ay basta takaw na to taza mamasutta no pues eji siya gi na bubu na no pues za oguji malangnos nanmo na matuwa na gua 30, 40 gi otro partida tagi jabas mambaba rasonnya lo ya makaun visa na molik rasonnya no tiba kaun. Okay, pues ena pabesangan. Thank you no.
Thank you, Senator Paul. I have no further questions. If there are no other questions from the members, also for the record, I forgot to mention earlier, Senator Donald Magnolia is excused for this meeting. Moving on to miscellaneous, are there any items for miscellaneous? If not, Mr. Kiyoshi, you are hereby dismissed.
Jawa ontis de be no Madam Chair Malefazuti who mentioned no given the conflict of interest sa todo at tumungo tinan hojo pachuchuchoy. In fact, pag umapatuzo ginin DC. Ontis de be acceptas na nomination uwagan ni ethics committee. Zama clear na sinya zo no bumort lo guaha siya no tisina para besoge, por ejemplo, tisina na para by who discuss para by fan register toto giliwantin si Choo. Tisina lokin na para by usa no supplies office no indigi siya da lokin na by no ayon dangtun na si Jus Mosi si Congressman Gregorio Kililika Matsu Sablan chief of staff si Bob Shorback zan sino man no manager gini district manager si Paula ni Mercedes zo este na oportunidad para biserbi tanoo no ni este na importante na posisyon. Wenti every 2 years sa estilo klaro za ausente sinintenya si Senator Paul Hamza Lokin ni man-elected official ni inlili dan nigi uno benti mo na no kumulo si Senator Paul sinintenya wasa question dati man mo opi question no hapa na sinya sa Antonio Tisinya inigi uno no zaon na by permiti sinamay no community at large na tilaliko na para by go starring no logo ho by bring up no siya na issue sa usentino imangumplain at timatendi sa ay ang para suseya por pangumplain basta no lo by permiti intermentin no totomaranas na by chogoy hafa dinansi masya Republicano Democrat Independent sa ipubliko muna panggay good gini ipubliko sumesenti ipubliko man na madedesi daw senti sinintenya si Senator Po no dinansi sa molik no Senator Po na usangan economic sa magay na thousand ni newly pares economic sa dinansi no ifinomo sa kumun register na sa lose mo voting right pos iliko na dito mo na pambobota lo kumun lose mo no voting right pos iliko na David yung biro maging Marianas John Saga 145 days unta TG half kumikiling ilay za un nagwaha lokwe na sa tililingan na pong fatwa mga sa Ponsaga gini posponhono David ni wazo mo intent ni Ponsaga Marianas na wazo mo no power bill, telephone bill, post office dati tungo kung nisisita no through ilay or sina regulation no si Jus Masi para tororo samjo.
Quickly, be aumenta.
Recognize Senator Paul.
Ya depois si outro na policy linha na neofaisin na jafan na nazi kistisia sa linha esta 14 years di mamambobota za manaigwi reku okay jaiji pumalu siya 14 years loki ji tutungo aji nanya linha ane afan ati matsek loki ji pumalu na todo do 14 years no. It's a good point. We want to do it, make it fair, and do it when there's ample time. Don't just wait till a few months before the election and then start giving people headache. So now they're being questioned. Pinomo gi off year na it's gi mon na duro ma check and 14 years na mambobotawa za linya taigyo. Pues make sure na todo do 14 years. No mga na isa maazik certain people na. Thank you.
Uno be operasyon no Senator Po da 20 iliko na mas fair no ang guardes na empleyado no Mala datadzik na datana. Sa ilinga isti Board of Election na ti politika. Rotalia na mampus politika. Pues an puro aji po fan makonni no. Liko no maagan ni chairman ni Democrat, ni chairman ni Republican no. Jan des 5-5 ne. Ja go ni Democrat biato ni Republican, go ni Republican ponatan so. Inama si gini independent. Sa independent ne tima rekognisa na partida. So niki uno bentin ni sinya ilay hamzo ni pinanahalo men no na rekognisa independent so walo ki niya representative yalo men no na grupo ne. Niki uno si just masi.
This is small C, Senor Kiyoshi. If there are no other further questions from the members, you are hereby dismissed, Mr. Kiyoshi.
Si just masi, thank you.
This is small C. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, adjournment. Recognize Senator Paul for the proper motion.
Chair, I move that we adjourn subject to the call of the chair.
Second.
Motion has been made and it has been seconded. Are you any discussions?
Ready?
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. This meeting is hereby adjourned at 2:59 p.m.